Hey, it's Professor Demersion here. I wanted to recap some of the things that we went over in class about how to use this brain playback and how to get the most out of it. This will be the part of this. The first tutorial is going to be about that. The second tutorial is going to be about using the filter graph and delays and some different audio techniques that I've been wanting to show you. So let's get to it. This is right from eCampus. It's the same thing that we used in class, but I just wanted to show you in case you wanted to use each one of these kind of outlets are the 7 data points from our brainwave material, from our EEG. So you can use all of them. Like I was saying in class, the betas are our kind of conscious state. Our alphas, these are things when we start to get relaxed, like the meditation that we were talking about. We start to have activity in these areas. Some of these other ones are only kind of more active when you're dreaming and in deeper sleep. And I forget what the low gamma is. You don't have to worry about that. So, but you can look these up easily online, and I have some stuff on them on eCampus. But let's focus in on these kind of things. The first thing, like we talked about, is we always want to kind of look at what's our highest and lowest parts of the data set, because that's when we're going to scale something. We want to know that those figures, okay? And so that's what this, I know this looks a little scary, but we're really going to ignore a lot of it. In fact, you can get rid of all this stuff here. The other thing that I wanted to show you, if there was stuff here in the one that you'll have, you can get rid of all that stuff that's up in this area that's just kind of floating stuff. Okay, so the peak and trough objects are the ones that we want to that'll give us the high and the low. The way that this trowel works is that you got to feed it in a high number for it to start to give you the low numbers, because this is going to start spitting out all sorts of numbers, and if this number is lower than a high number, that new low number will then be the new low number. So let me just show you how you should set up your patch so you can get those the proper low numbers. So the smart way to do this would be to use a load message. So a load message, every time you open the patch, it's going to send that message out to those objects. So let's put a ridiculously high number in here, like 100,000. Okay, and what I want to do is I'm going to feed that into each of these trowels, so you'll be able to use data from any of these ones if you decide to do that, and I'll show you how. We'll do this as an example in this patch. So I'm holding down the shift key to do multiple things like that, and then I'll just kind of swipe it here and then do the route patch chord. Okay, just neaten that up. Okay, so when you do it for the first time and it's not opening, you can just double click it, and you see how it's filled these up. If we stretch these out, you'll see that that's all those numbers are 100,000 in there. Okay, now a couple more things that I want to do. The data set, this is a really important object in here, the call object that says April 2nd. This is the part of that text file. This has got to be, this April 2nd text file is got to be in the same folder as this brain playback patch, or this is not going to work. You won't see any data. If you don't see any data in here, you don't have it in the right folder. Put it in a folder with the brain playback patch, you're all set. You can see here the index numbers. We're going to use this counter object. Is just going to send us these numbers from 0 to 110. And so when that is receiving a number 0, it's going to provide all these 7 data points that are going to come out here. Okay, that's how this works. So it's going to receive a number 97, and when 97 is called, all these numbers pop out from 97. Okay, don't believe me? Let's check and see. Let's just throw in a number here, 97, boom, okay? And then let's kind of look at, okay, all the numbers, 875271, 875271. Oh, all these numbers just came straight from the 97th index of this. So we're just going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, and all these numbers will come flooding out, okay? So that's how the call works. You can use this for all sorts of things. It's a great data source. Okay, and that's the call object working in conjunction with the counter. So I was using a 1,000-point data set, but right now our thing, as we saw there, was only 110. So let's just change that. You could just jump in here and go 110. Look at the help file on the counter. If you've forgotten how to use this, it's really useful. You could also, let's see, this resets it immediately. You could also just set up a integer, put it in here, and say 110. Whoops. Okay, that's the same thing. This first argument says count forward 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the second argument says this is where you start 0, 1, 2, 3, this is where you end. Okay? And let's see. One last thing that I want to do here. I have this this thing set up to give you an average of these numbers. It might be something that's useful to you. Let me just kind of show you, but these once again are set up for 1,000. Let me show you how to set it up for your ones. Now some of you guys in class had a 200 figure data set. Other ones had a 100 data set. I just started to cut it down as the evening was going on. We were running out of time. I just wanted to make sure everyone got their data, their brainwave data. So I'm going to adjust this in case you, this is just how you adjust it to just 110. You'd put in 100, whatever your data set is, just put it in here, and that will give you a divided number. Now let's just run the data through. I'm going to go 5. I'm going to turn this on. 5 is just 5 milliseconds. Oh shit. I'm going to do one more thing. Okay, I want this number to also be 110. Okay, I'm going to stop that. We're going to just start this again. This is going to run through quickly. Changing this to instead of every 2 seconds sending out a bang, it's going to send it every 5 milliseconds. So we just blast through this. This is going to say when you're over, let's go, this should be 109. When you're over 109, stop, send a stop message to the metro. You'll see it in 2 seconds. Okay, let's just start the counter at 0 here. That's where this number comes in handy. Okay, now do it. Okay, so there we go. We've got all of our, here's our peak and trough information for all of these data points. Okay, very cool. Here's the average number. We'll try to, I guess, throw out this one. That negative can't be right. There must be something wrong in here. And but these are the averages, just in case you wanted to use that. Now that you have this, you can really clean this up and just say, okay, encapsulate all this stuff. I don't really need to see that. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and just kind of do that here. Just kind of clean this up a little bit. And then so now these are the numbers we want to focus on. And really, we're going to work with the high beta or low beta. So let's work with the low beta, and I want to scale this. So these are going to be the key numbers when we're scaling. Your numbers are going to be different because your brainwave activity is different. Okay, but this is the basic idea. Scale is the most important object, basically, that we're using all semester long. You're going to say from the lowest point, the arguments here go low point, high point, and then the where you want to map it to, 0 to 1 or something like that. If you're using MIDI, it'll be in the range of 0 to 2 to 127. So I'm placing this number in here, 131297. And let's just say, for what I'm doing, I want to map this to a MIDI range, which is 0 to 127. whatever you put in here for the final two arguments. If you're working with jitter and you wanted to use like Visi examples to control video, you could put in something like this. You could do both of these. You don't have to do one or the other. You could totally do an audio and visual thing. Maybe you shoot video of like a self-portrait from the webcam and have it be distorted based on the brainwave information. Okay, so now all we got to do is take this right from the spigot here, and what we're doing is the next time we run this, we'll bring it back to, let's just say 100 or 200, 250. And now it's going to scale in this range from 0 to 127. Let's just kind of look at it here. I'll blow this up big, and then you'll get a basic command. This is a good trick. Command select, and that lets you kind of blow something up. Okay. Now we're going to scale this. You should see numbers between 0 and 127 here. It looks like there's a lot of low numbers in that range. Okay, so I feel like the high numbers, we probably have some outlying high numbers in here. Okay. It's going to stop in a second. Okay, good. Okay, so that's our numbers. Let's turn that into some music. So this is just one example of 3,000 other things that you could do, but it's just a kind of quick illustration of how we can use this. So if we bring this over, now those numbers were in a kind of particular range of MIDI. If we want to put it into, let's say, more kind of musical MIDI note terms, here I just double clicked on this. How did I make that keyboard thing? I just did a K slider, K-S-L-Y, pardon me, I-D-E-R, and then I hit the option, clicked that, brought up our help file, stole all that, and threw it in here. Okay, that's all that's going on there. So what I want to do is, for MIDI notes, you'll see here, let's kind of play with this for 2 seconds. If I hit this, my audio is off, but you'll see these numbers. 36 is a low kind of C. This is like a 48. So I would say from 48 to 60 here. 72, that's a good range, 48 to 72. In fact, let's change this number to 48 to 72. Now, because there are so many low numbers, most of these numbers are going to be gravitating between 48 and like 55. So we can talk more on our next class about managing data sets like this and trying to get the greatest impact out of working with data. But let's just give you a quick playback here. So you'll see. Now all you got to do here is just send this data over, send to keyboard. You could put in anything, send to Monkey Town, it's okay, whatever it is, it's a made-up word to keyboard. That wasn't anything in particular. Okay, and receive that. We'll just throw that right directly into here. I was doing some other stuff with that. Let's not use that. Okay, let the party begin. And this is how you would do your thing. You will be able to hear yours. I've got my sound turned off so it can make a video, so I can make the video when I'm not feeding back. Now, this is the only thing that I've added here. It's called the program out, PGMOUT. You can change these. Changing these numbers will give you different sounds. Okay. So these are okay. The set is over. Let me just run it one more time. So we're sonifying the brain waves now and turning it into these kind of mallet type things. See the GM MIDI file that I have on eCampus to list for a list of all the sounds. This is the starting point, and for the other one, this is the ending point now. Bye.